A well-known pastor and author launched several scathing criticisms at the LGBT community. Moody's downgrades the Bahamas' credit rating, and a senior cabinet minister believes that the Christie administration owes the Bahamian people an apology. We've got these stories and much more. This is the Tribune's Top 5. Bahamas Faith Ministries International pastor and author Dr. Myles Munroe minced no words this week as he condemned the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. Dr. Munroe believes that the alternative lifestyle threatens the very existence of humanity. However, his criticisms did not bode well for human rights activists. BFMI senior pastor Dr. Myles Munroe fiercely condemned homosexuality through a press statement, which came on the heels of a 4-day gay pride celebration in Grand Bahama last weekend. The statement suggested that forces were deceptively working to convince people that homosexuality is normal. Speaking specifically about the gay pride event, Mr. Munroe said the issue had to be addressed from a position that extended beyond religion. He said, quote, "In the guise of civil rights and human rights, the LGBT minority community have decided to celebrate the civility of their very uniquely chosen lifestyle and sexual preferences publicly. I am not sure what their mission or goals are in this effort, but obviously they have received enough incentive and motivation to attempt something that 90% of the Bahamas and Bahamians consider unacceptable and violates their collective convictions, moral standing, and values," end quote. Well, human rights activist Erin Green did not take Dr. Munroe's words lightly. She hit back, saying the religious leader's words could only be considered hate speech. Ms. Green expressed concerns that Dr. Munroe's words could incite violence against law-abiding Bahamians who are a part of the LGBT community. Ms. Green said Bahamians must come to a point where they understand the concepts of citizenship and that no individual or group of individuals should be denied freedom of expression. The man accused of murdering the alleged fire and theft gang leader Julian Heads Colley sometime last year was found dead and riddled with bullets on Tuesday following an early morning drive-by shooting near a preschool. Authorities identified him as 38-year-old Rolando Smith of Bel Air Estates. Police confirmed that the victim was one of 4 men shot by a group of men in a Honda Accord during a drive-by in Montel Heights. Authorities also believe that the same gunman terrorized several inner-city communities between Monday night and Tuesday morning. Smith was killed at around 12:30 a.m. on Ethel Street. His mother, who was at the scene, was inconsolable and told reporters that her son had been shot 8 times before. He was out on bail for the April 2013 death of Julian Heads Colley. And despite the Christie administration's efforts to arrest the national debt, Wall Street agency Moody's yet again downgraded the Bahamas' credit rating. The Bahamas' sovereign credit rating was cut to just 2 notches above junk status on Tuesday as Moody's reacted to the nation's subdued economic growth and continued fiscal weakness. The agency slashed the government's issuer and unsecured credit ratings by 1 place from Baa1 to Baa2. However, on the bright side, it gives a vote of confidence on the upcoming value-added tax implementation and fiscal report, saying an improvement of the country's finances was expected. Moody's explained that the Bahamas' debt and interest burdens now exceeded that of most of the country's BAA-rated peers. The much-anticipated new Gaming Bill 2014 was tabled in the House of Assembly on Wednesday and with its first reading unveiled many questions which had for the past several months been unknown. The new Gaming Bill outlines several caveats, which includes a gradual progression toward allowing Bahamians inside of casinos at the discretion of the minister, also the possibility of a national lottery also dependent upon the minister's approval, and tax rates for web shops, which have been a point of interest for months. According to the Gaming House Operator Regulations 2014, the holder of a gaming license will be taxed according to whichever is greater, either 11% of taxable revenue or 25% of earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. Web shop operators would also have to pay an annual license fee of $250,000 after the initial license fee of $5,000 is paid. Failure to comply with the taxes, the regulation said, would be subject to harsh penalties. Further, applying for a gaming house operator license can only be initiated if the gaming board extends an invitation to apply. But despite the stringent legislation, former gaming board chairman Andre Rollins slammed the government, saying he would not vote for the bill if it remains in its current form because it upholds the status quo of discriminating against Bahamians and facilitates corruption. He said the bill would sanitize previous convictions of web shop bosses who violated the Lotteries and Gaming Act. Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe now believes that his government, the Christie administration, should eat humble pie and apologize to Bahamians for going against the majority no vote of the January 28th gaming referendum. Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe said the Christie administration owes the Bahamian people an apology for its decision to go against the majority no vote of the January 28, 2013 gaming referendum. However, he said the government could not avoid moving forward with regularizing number houses in the country. Mr. Wilshcombe explained on Thursday as he spoke to reporters after touring a hotel on Rose Island that it was the government's initial intention to respect the outcome of the referendum, which cost taxpayers around $1.2 million. However, he said this position was abandoned after the Central Bank of the Bahamas warned that unregulated web shops were expected to harm the financial services sector. As the government prepares to debate the newly tabled gaming bill and regulations, Mr. Wilshcombe insisted that the government was not concerned with criticisms from detractors. He said, "We do owe the public an appreciative apology for first of all participating in the gaming referendum, and secondly, we had to revisit it." Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, or send us a tweet at Tribune242.